This is the third video in our series on SER and ESTAR, and I'm going to spend this entire video just discussing the use of SER in the passive voice and how you would use that conversationally with what's called the passive say construction. So we're going to dig kind of deep this morning. Okay, so grab a cup of coffee and let's get to learning. The passive voice is formed using the verb ser along with the past participle. And past participle is words like walked and talked and spoke. You all know what they are, and it's just a grammatical term. So those are the two things we're going to use, some form of ser and then a past participle. Now, to understand what a passive sentence is, probably ought to start with what's an active sentence. And something like the police arrested the suspect. El policía arrestó el sospechoso is an active sentence. Our focus is on the agent of the action, the police, because they're the ones doing the arresting. And the suspect is the recipient of that action. Now with the passive sentence, we want the focus to be on the recipient of the action. So what ends up happening is you take that direct object, which in this case is el sospechoso, and you shove it to the front of the sentence and use that ser past participle construction from there. So the sentence, the active sentence, el policía arrestó el sospechoso, changes to el sospechoso fue arrestado por el policía. Okay, so the agent that's doing the arresting is kind of pushed to the background of our sentence because our focus is on, hey, the suspect was arrested by the police. Okay, so as you can see, we have point one is we use ser in whatever form, so it's either going to be singular or plural. It has to agree with the subject, which in essence the subject for this sentence is el sospechoso. So it's el sospechoso fue, because we're in the preterite, right, past tense. The suspect was arrested. So the past participle has to agree in gender and number with what is in essence the subject now, which is el sospechoso. So the past participle then becomes arrestado. And then por el policía finishes out our thought. So let's change this so you understand about the gender and number and the conjugation of ser. Let's change this to female suspects. How do you think that sentence would then appear construction-wise? While you're thinking about it, I'm just going to grab another cup of coffee here. So, did you say las sospechosas fueron arrestadas por el policía? Because that's what it should be. So we have ser is now conjugated to agree with las sospechosas, and where we had arrestado in the past with one male suspect, we now have arrestadas. Because we have female suspects and there's more than one. So that's basically all there is to the passive construction of a sentence. Point number one, we use ser. Point number two, we use a past participle that needs to agree in gender and number with the subject of the sentence. So let's take this one step further. And let's say we want to have a passive impersonal sentence. All we do is take off the agent, which in this case is por el policía. And our sentence becomes las sospechosas fueron arrestadas, because that's where our focus is, on the suspects. So we don't care at this point. Either we don't care who did the arresting or it's unknown. And that's why we construct it as such. It's a passive sentence. Focus is on who received the action, and the person or persons who performed the action is of no consequence to us. How would you formulate a passive, impersonal sentence out of the suspect wrote the confession. Well, first of all, you'd have to change it to the confession was written by the suspect, right? La confesión fue escrita por el sospechoso. And then to make it impersonal, we leave off the por el sospechoso, and our passive sentence is la confesión fue escrita. Again, the confession is a singular subject, so we conjugate ser to agree with that. And then la confesión is singular and feminine, so it becomes escrita. All right, so y'all with me on that? Pretty easy stuff, right? Now, what I want you to do is forget everything I just told you, because you're not going to talk like that. Nobody talks like that. Okay, this passive sentence structure that I gave you is reserved pretty much for the written word. You're going to see it in newspapers, you're going to see it in magazines, but you're not going to say this conversationally. All right, but I had to walk you through the steps so you knew where this thing came from. Oh, you can use it in conversation. Okay, people are going to look at you funny. For instance, if you said that to me and my buddy, if you spoke like that, I'd look at my buddy and say, well, look at this person showing off all their book learning. All right, that's how that's going to come across. So English speakers who are learning Spanish seriously overuse this construction in conversation. Okay, so here's an idea. Don't talk like that. All right, don't do it. I'm going to show you how you would take those kind of sentences and use them conversationally next. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Visit our website for more information about our classes and our online classes. And until next time, please stay safe.